Hey everybody, welcome to the Download Youth Ministry Web Show, episode 269. Doug Fields here with Jason Carson,
Heyo.
Senior Pastor, Josh Griffin, High School Pastor, the Queen, Katrina Edwards, Junior High Pastor, and we finally have our sponsors.
They're
in
back.
the background.
They're hung so nicely.
High performance studio
Yes.
that we
Yeah.
are still in.
High class.
Yeah,
A month
High
later.
We got to get a real studio. It's coming. It's coming.
We're so
Yeah.
excited.
So grateful that the Download Youth Ministry Web Show is sponsored by Orange.
We love Orange.
Yeah, Orange.
Just recently got back from Orange. What an incredible conference. What an incredible event. Very, very fun.
Amazing.
We
Yeah.
were all there,
was
which is
super
rad.
fun.
Yeah.
Super,
Yeah.
super fun.
Katie?
Loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
It was cool. It's just fun. It's like a really fun group of people. So I think, A, getting away is always awesome. But B, just a ton of laughing. And
You know, every time I saw a picture, it seemed like your team, your junior high team, was off the property. Yeah, eating.
Eating away from the
Like, I
Gwinnett
wonder,
Center.
did you guys hear any of
Yeah,
the
we did.
sessions?
we
or-
went to all of it,
Oh,
actually.
you did? Really?
Yeah, we
Wow.
did.
Yeah, they streamed them live while they
Yeah,
were eating ribs.
we didn't do the pre-conference.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, you can only soak
It's a
in
lot of
so much
yeah,
conference.
It's true.
So we did, all the main sessions, except we had to leave to fly out, so we missed the very last one. And
Yeah,
then,
I did too.
And then we missed but we did all the breakouts and everything. It was really cool.
Great.
It was really fun.
Great.
Yeah.
7,000 people.
I know.
I was so
Crazy.
surprised how many student ministry people
Yeah.
stood up when they said, "Children, stand up."
Tons. It was like a lot of preschool workers
Uh-huh.
and tons of student ministers.
Yeah.
It's true.
was
Yeah,
cool.
junior high and high school.
Yeah.
I
Very
noticed you
cool.
guys' cups are the same. You and Jason, did you have a pre-podcast meal or?
We did not. Just great minds think alike. That's all. No, you know what I liked about the conference? The DYM members dinner that we had. Wasn't that, great?
was really
Wasn't that fun?
It was
That was
very
fun.
fun.
That was good meeting those people. Those
It
were
was
good
great.
people.
They are good
And
people.
they're very thankful.
Katie wasn't
Appreciate
invited to it. She's not a member.
Ouch.
So wasn't able to be
Member.
there.
She's a contributor, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
Somebody told me that was there that downloaded your video training that you did a
Yeah.
couple months ago.
Oh, yeah.
They loved it. They were
Cool.
telling me how great it was, and they need to have Katie more. I said, that's the story of my life. If I have to get a
Oh.
tattoo, we need more Katie.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what people say all the time.
All the
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah.
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 Hear it
Great.
everywhere
That
I
was
go.
fun to do that one. That was
Yeah.
cool.
More where that came from. Don't worry.
All
More
right.
Katie.
Did anybody recognize you from the podcast?
They did.
Yeah?
It was.
They
kinda,
did?
It was kind of weird. Like, hey, I love you on the podcast. I was like, hey, thank you. So
That's
And then they were like, Miguel, you look so different in person.
I saw Matt McGill there.
I know.
Oh,
Great
he
singer
was there too.
What an awesome
Miguel.
guy.
We
Yeah.
should have had, because Jana was there.
Yeah.
So we
could have
really
a reunion.
had
There could
like
have been a major reunion.
6 of the 7 people that have
Yeah.
ever been on the podcast.
Wow,
Yeah.
that'd have been fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Very
next
fun.
next time, next year
Jason
at
got a
Orange.
little high life treat because they picked me up at the airport and they dropped me off at the airport.
Yes.
And Jason got to tag along.
Yeah.
It was very
well,
funny.
well, he said to me, I was texting him before, and he said, like, just look for the limo. And I'm like, ha, that's
Yeah,
funny, Doug.
Good one.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, oh, it's a limo service. All right, that's great.
Right,
So it's
just
good.
Wait,
Mr.
so you
Fields.
rode in a
No,
limo?
it was a nice town car.
It's a town car,
But,
but-
you know, a limo
Yeah,
service.
I mean,
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
It's actually
It was-
cheaper to do that and take you to the event and back than had they rented me a car the whole time.
Yeah.
So
I was picked up in a Toyota Tacoma.
Cool.
So,
It's a nice car.
that actually fits you.
Plenty of luggage space. It was real nice.
Youth Minister, Mr. Fields.
Exactly. Mr. Fields,
Mr.
your town
Fields.
car's waiting.
Adam McNeil. Adam McNeil's from Grace United Methodist Church in Huntsville,
Oh, Alabama.
which is where our some of our other web show
Absolutely.
sponsors are.
We
YM360.
love YM360. Check out their resources. New promo code this week. 12% off.
Cheese Puff.
Cheese Puff is it. Cheese Puff. Use the promo code Cheese Puff.
Yeah.
And you get 12% off of anything you order this week from Youth Ministry 360. Love those guys. They're great.
You know, they gave us DYM members. They have freebie.
Yeah.
I read it the other day on how to write Bible studies for kids.
Is
it was
it awesome?
really, really good. Yep, they do a great job.
Yeah, and then we interviewed Andy Blanks from YM360 for our Mentor Me this month as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Really, really good dudes.
Yeah. And Josh, speaking of one of our other sponsors, APU, you helped me teach the master's class yesterday.
Yep, I
Whoa.
got to teach the
Refund.
master.
What did you say?
People were just like, they wanted to pay more tuition by the
Totally.
end. They were
Right.
like, more wisdom.
More
It's
Josh.
unbelievable.
More
Yeah,
Josh.
that's exactly how it went in my mind. I don't know
Yeah.
how it really went because I
More
was, yeah.
Josh.
No, I got to take the class for an afternoon, had a blast with them. And then they came to our youth ministry. So they came to HSM.
Cool.
We're doing life group workshops together. So many great questions, awesome discussions.
Cool.
When I get to do stuff like that, I learn and grow so much. Like I know I'm supposed to be there doing whatever, but the insight that they have is so helpful. Because, like any youth ministry, I kind of am very comfortable in my church, my little world.
Sure.
And it just, shatters when you're around other youth workers. You're like, that's a good idea.
Did you
I'm
spend
gonna
time
steal that.
asking them each person to share their story at all?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay, good. I'm glad you didn't, because Jim Burns taught day 1, and he did, and then I taught day 2, and I did.
No.
And then day 3, I taught in the morning, then you came, and I thought, oh, if he does it, they're going to be like so tired of
Hey
sharing their
guys,
story.
let's all stand up and share your
Yeah.
story.
It actually just
Everybody
kind of
gets 10
reveals that
minutes.
Josh doesn't care about them
Right.
where they're from.
It
but
is all about me, guys.
getting your content out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna give it what I got, and then I'm gonna drop the mic and go home.
How was the guy from South Africa, Mo?
Yeah,
Very
cool.
sharp.
Yeah.
They had to give 10-minute talks, and then I debriefed it and kind of,
Yeah.
evaluated it.
I can't think of anything more terrifying.
They all.
than
I was
doing
like, "How was it?" And they were like,
talk
"We were
for
nervous.
you.
We were giving a talk to Doug Fields, and he was giving us feedback."
Oh gosh.
They loved it,
Cool.
and I told them what a gift it was, even though it didn't feel like a gift, probably.
Yeah.
But they were all stoked on it. But it was intimidating.
Yeah.
Is he awesome?
He was really good. Yeah, he was really good.
Who was the weakest? Just kidding. Don't say
No.
that. Were they all good? I mean, they were all
No, they weren't
sharp.
all good.
Really?
No, they
Yeah.
weren't. They weren't. They weren't good. I said, look, here's the deal. If it's 8 to 10 minute talk,
Yeah.
and which is really hard to do.
Yep.
And I spent the whole first day kind of teaching them
Yeah.
communication, different things about it, and showed them videos of me, like where I did good, where I did bad.
Love it.
I mean, just really kind of coaching them on how to communicate. And my first point is God doesn't need flawless communicators, just hardworking ones.
Yeah.
And how
that's okay.
hard work it is to really craft a message.
Mm-hmm.
And I said 8 to 10 minutes is going to be really, it'd probably be easier to do a 30-minute message,
Mm-hmm.
but 8 to 10 minutes. If you're over 11 and under 6, you fail.
Love
Okay?
it.
You fail.
That's right.
Land the plane. I like it.
And
Put the fear of God in him.
The
Like,
first
they
guy,
get an F?
you fail. That's what I said.
Oh my
That's what I
gosh.
said, Katie.
Oh, okay.
First guy, 14 minutes. Second guy, 13 minutes.
Now, could they have a clock? Could they
They
measure?
could have done whatever they wanted to do
Oh
in no
my
time.
goodness.
So
Sloppy.
finally, on the third guy, I'm like, "Hey, you're at 12 minutes. Wrap it up."
I love
Oh
it.
gosh.
I love it.
I
But the guy
was
from South
sad.
Africa was really good.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
he did a great job.
You can tell a lot by people's questions, like their heart, their attitude. Are they a learner? Are they curious? Are
Yeah.
they seeking? And that's what I loved most about that class is the questions were nonstop, and they weren't just like, "Tell me what you do for small groups." They were very.
Well, here's
very
the difference
articulate.
between undergrad and graduate, and this was a graduate class, is they're all doing it.
Right.
You know,
right.
and there was 11 in the class. 10 of them were doing youth ministry. One is going into creation care.
Yeah, do you do you. That's what I say.
I don't know. Creation care is like environmental.
Environmentalism, yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to.
There you go.
I think the Bible, the early translations say subdue the earth. And so I say,
I've
it's for us,
heard
people.
that
Let's use it up.
before.
Use it up and then a new heaven and a new earth. Here we go.
People are like dying.
I had
Yeah.
to give a
Sometimes I just-
7-minute talk for assessment training for our launch group for church planning,
Uh-huh.
and they had this panel, and they just grilled you, and they would and then they did a Shark Tank exercise. So they said, "Why should we support your church?" And they would come at you as aggressively and as harsh as anything I've ever seen. So they would I saw the guys before me, and they just ripped them to pieces. And you have to get up there and you have 7 minutes, and they stop you no matter where you're at 7 minutes, and you're done. And they'll tell you you're horrible in your humor or your points or anything like that. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
So
Now,
and I did perfect.
10 out of
It
10.
was all the other people that failed.
God.
Did they end up
No.
funding you? Because that sounds ruthless. Like, how does that work? Do they sponsor you or your church?
No, they
or
don't.
what?
It's
an
an
exercise.
exercise.
okay, thank you.
But they had the
It's not
Shark
like
Tank
you walked
logo on
away
the
with
screen.
10
and
I know, I was
or
like-
something.
as you came in, it was pretty cool.
They fund your church
It was a
plan,
little
huh?
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
This is from Adam McNeil. Says, I'm an Orange XP3 user, brand new DYM member, and a very slow rewinder. I heard you on 267 talk about Orange. I just won a ticket. I'm headed to Atlanta.
All right.
What are y'all doing at the DYM conference? We're done.
Hey,
We're
it
back.
was great. Great meeting you.
Hey,
Feels right.
can we give him a ticket to the conference 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, you're free.
Yeah, if you can invent a time travel machine, you're gonna love Orange
Yes.
this year.
This is
It
this
was a great one.
email, and send your letters, your emails into webshow at
Your letters. Send in a postcard
Yeah,
to.
your words.
to
your-
webshow at downloadyouthministry.com.
Yes, please.
This is from Mark Eads. Hey, my friends, thanks for the show. Enjoyed it much. Katie totally rocks as always. The others, well,
Nice.
got this update.
Well,
Very discerning young person right there. Thank you, Mark. Hurts.
You know who Mark is?
Yeah, I know. Mark.
Do you know Mark? We had
Yeah.
dinner with him at Buffalo
Yeah.
Wild Wings at Student Leadership.
Oh yeah, I do remember Mark.
Junior
Thank
hire,
you.
like, raises the bar on who he
Yeah.
brings. Got this update for the Student Leadership Conference, and I'm all registered. So this was just, which, by the way, you're welcome to join
Yeah.
us if you want to. It's studentleadershipconference.com.
Yeah. See you there.
It did make me think of something I go through with a number of my parents. A little context. I have my middle school kids go through a process to be eligible to go to the Student Leadership Conference. A part of that process is they have to explain how they serve and why they serve. I often get questions from parents on what does serving look like for their middle school youth. So that's my question to you. And you say in your promotion, actually leading is actually more like serving. How do you explain what serving is to your parents? Looking forward to hanging out with you at Granger. Blessings, Mark Eads. So Katie, why don't you just take this? Just you.
Oh wow, I
What
must
is
sit back.
What is
Hey.
what is
Sit back on this-
serving?
Go, Katie.
I kind of
look
tuned it out
like-
anyhow. So
What does serving look like for middle school students?
Yeah. Well, I think serving for middle school, I think one of the most important things is to create culture. So I think something that is woven into many things that you're doing. What I find that I love the most about middle school is that repetition is key with a lot of things, but I think just having a culture where service is a part of multiple things that you're doing, multiple layers, I think that's great for parents and for students. So, for example, at kind of a lot of our primary stuff, there is always something that highlights serve or inspires them to serve or teaches them a lesson about serve. That's just something that I think we've just tried to create a culture of. So like at our weekend church service, we have a serve spotlight every week. And so that might be what students are doing out in the community. It might be a student giving a testimony. It might be highlighting something in the church, but it's just kind of exposing them to kind of maybe first steps to serve. And I think that's cool for our parents to be exposed to that too, which is super cool. And then at the small group level, we're encouraging students and their leaders to serve together. And that's like a big part of it is taking what you're, studying in the Bible together and putting that in motion. And so I think that's huge for middle school. And then I think at the individual level, there's a lot of different things that they can do on their own to serve. And I think, again, just communicating all of that to parents and kind of the heart behind that, but just having an overall culture, I think, for junior high is key. I also think start points and end points are really key for junior high. So I think they really need, here's the start point and what we're trying to do, and here's the end point, versus I think a lot of them have a hard time staying connected to something for a year or two maybe, or something like that. So I like to have lots of multiple things that have start points and end points, which I think are
great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I don't know. I think that all contributes to culture. And then I just think with parents, it's just communication. So I think, and to identifying in your own bigger church culture, what's the culture of serve in the bigger church culture? Because for us, our church focuses a lot on serve. So it's maybe a little bit easier because it's kind of in the water here. But thinking about what that looks like for parents too, and how to, maybe incorporate parents into something or do something family, I think that could be really cool too.
Groovy. I like it. When my nephew was in your junior high ministry, he had no idea how to do sound, but he volunteered to do sound. And there was an
And
adult
lights.
there. Remember Tim?
Tim.
Tim was the sound guy, and
Oh,
so
man.
Daniel would do sound and lights. And the reason he did it is because Tim, who had a ministry to no other kid but this kid,
That's right.
and he would bring him a candy bar every week. And Daniel was so excited to get the candy bar, and what Tim didn't know, because my sister, and Daniel never told my sister that
Of course not.
he got a
Yeah.
candy bar. Daniel, when he has sugar, he just goes crazy. And it's just one of those kids, long story short, drug
Yeah.
baby, different things that happen with Daniel. and so he just can't have sugar. And so he would show up to junior high, get a candy bar from Tim the sound guy, and lights were like,
Wow, this light show is amazing. Like,
He
sugar.
would run lights, so I'd get up to
Purple
teach or
haze.
something, and the lights would be like, I'm like, okay, let's just turn on the regular lights. But-
Music's over, Daniel. Let's tone it down a notch.
and he made him a little name badge that said D-Light on it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Oh
right.
just
my
like-
goodness.
and he was called D-Light for a long
D-Light, we
time.
called him
That's
that for a
funny.
time.
I
But
forgot
I love
about
that about middle school too. Is just the simplest things are huge. Are huge lessons and huge in creating
Yeah.
culture. So you see a kid at the light board, you see a student
Yeah.
passing out stuff, you see a student cleaning up or on stage singing.
Yeah.
You know, all those little things contribute to culture.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and here's Tim, a sound guy, has no idea what an incredible. I mean, that's good youth ministry.
Yeah.
What he was,
Totally.
just the fact that you bring a candy bar every week, as dumb as it sounds, that made Daniel come to church, feel valued. You know, got a little
He's
name
part of the
tag,
team.
D-Light. I mean, come
Name
on.
Part of the
tag is
team. That's
unbelievable.
Yeah. Jeremy writes, I love your show. Sorry you got Pismode, but I love you all and really enjoying having Jason on the show.
Oh.
Thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom and God's wisdom with us. I love the topic of rest and slowing down. You guys brought it up in episode 268, which was our last episode. I've been practicing rest the last few months. I take 1 day a week while I don't carry my phone around or check it.
Wow.
I'm totally unplugged. My family, wife,
He's
3.5-year-old boy, 1.5-year-old boy, and a girl due in June, and I take the whole day to do only life-giving things together. We don't do anything that would be considered draining for us unless we absolutely have to. It's been life-giving for me personally and for my family. We call it our Sabbath. I think God did too.
Wow.
And,
Subtle. I like this.
Yeah, and then he asked a question. Jeremy, you asked a question that I would say 1 in 1,000 care about. So I'm going to give it to Jason to answer personally.
That's the
for
guy
you.
I am.
Okay.
1,000.
He will.
Not-
He will answer that personally for you.
Not carrying your phone for a whole day. Wow.
I know, and it's funny, isn't that seems radical?
It seems radical.
Well,
Now,
it just tells me you don't have teenagers. Because
Yeah.
that is like how I'm connected with them during
Yeah.
the day.
Your
Holy
kids are
Spirit.
young, you can probably handle-
You can
yeah.
handle it.
I would say there will eventually be a setting on your phone that will allow you to have like an on or off. Like it's a work phone, and then you can flip a switch, and it will be a private phone. Or there will be a Sabbath mode, or something. They won't call it that, but
Oh, that would
that
be
that
Hey,
mode is
create
coming.
an app, bro.
Dude. I'm serious, but I think it has to be the whole operating system.
Have you got the new Sabbath mode app?
Yeah, it's so rad. It's on
There it
your
is.
phone.
That's a new product for
I'm
DYM.
I'm telling you, you're welcome. Get on it.
That's great.
Anyhow, that
Now,
would
are
be
you
nice.
are you
Someday
wanting me
that's
to
coming.
email Jeremy with
Yeah,
this?
yeah. There's his email
Now,
address.
as a senior pastor,
Don't you think everyone's wondering what this question
That's
is?
part of the.
That's the
it's
mystery.
only- but
You
when-
got to write in.
But wouldn't you read it and go, okay, look, you're probably the only guy that cares about that.
wow, I kind of want to read it now.
I
I'm not
know.
gonna lie to you. Do you feel left out? I feel left out.
It's not really for everybody.
All right.
All right.
And that's how do you have a relationship with God. But okay, Doug.
Double dang it.
I've got 3 questions that actually our last show on busyness just struck some chords, kind of similar. One that says he wants to be anonymous. Love the busy show, but my question comes to calendar and busy. What happens if the church gets too busy? Another one is about busy too. Oh, here we go. I love the show on, this is from Justin Curl. I'm listening to your show on being busy and thought of a question that may not apply to many, but a few of us. Is it wrong to want to stay busy for those of us who don't have a family? I moved 13 hours away from home. In my current job, I'm not married. I don't want to sit at my apartment all alone for hours upon times. I know I shouldn't say yes to everything. I have to know, I have to prepare now for when I have a family, but I also know that idle hands are the devil's playground.
Is that a verse or
I
is that a
think-
saying?
I think that's a homeschool mantra. And then there is another one. This is from Mario Key. So Mario says, I'm a
Please don't use my
DYM
name.
member. I watch the show as often as I can and just watched the last show on being busy and had me thinking about something I wanted your thoughts on. I just moved halfway across the country to Kansas to take on a position of director of youth ministry, and I know no one here, and the church isn't exactly thriving with young adults for me. I've kept pretty busy with my life. My question is this: how do I find the time to rest and find a life outside of the church when the life of the church is all that I have? I'm a single young adult, 27, who normally does not have problems finding a life for myself, but I'm really struggling here to the point that I sit at home and continue to pore over the youth ministry during my downtime. Thanks for all that you guys do, and thank you for continuing to try to rein in Josh. Look at that. Matt's gone.
Matt's gone. Easy target, I guess.
Well, biggest target. So the
Not for long. Not for long. I'm heading down. Carson's heading up. So here we go. Senior pastor. Senior pastor. He's gonna have a tie on and gain 100 pounds. Look out.
Okay, so we got some busy action here, but
Yeah.
2 people saying I kind of want to stay busy because I don't have any friends, and I'm that's struggle. And then this other one who wants to be anonymous is the busy show hits too close to home because the
church
basically
calendar
the
is too
church
busy.
is
Yeah.
so busy. How do you, as youth staff, talk about thinning the calendar to maintain regular meetings of the church? How do you keep momentum during these busy seasons that go along with busy family calendars?
Yeah.
So let's pick up a little bit where we left off last time. Not that any of us remember.
No, I was too busy to even think about it since then.
Well, can I say for the one that said, or the 2 that said that what's the struggle if I don't have these relationships? I mean, I think it's always more important health over what's convenient or easy or busy or anything like that. So the health thing would be like God's created us for relationships, and if it's in a new town or if it's a struggle right now, you're not connecting, that's like anything in life. You got to work at that. You got to go out and connect with people and pour into people, whether that be starting with the people right there in your church or other churches in the local area that you can connect with someone in a similar position. And that's hard, right? Because you're in a town, a new culture that halfway across the country. I mean, that's like a
Join a
whole different
softball
world.
team. Go to CrossFit,
There you go.
right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Take up
Do
frisbee.
that.
Get on Pinterest.
I like it. Get a hobby.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Go to
that
Hobby Lobby.
Find
Greet
some,
people.
find some places where there's other young adults.
Yeah.
To plug in on your day off. That's
Well,
that's lighthearted.
yeah.
That's fun and.
I think you got to
Like
be careful.
nightclubs and bars.
Because
Well, those
nightclubs
can be really
and bars.
fun. I mean,
I think you have to be careful because otherwise the church and the youth ministry becomes our identity. And then if we lose that, or if we lose our fascination with it, or our optimism about it, or we're wounded by it, all of a sudden we are wounded and we have no identity and we're lost. If all you have is your job, it doesn't have to be the church, but all you have is your job, that's it's just not a healthy existence.
Yeah.
So I think you have to have a life outside of it. And it takes time and it's hard work and it's a slow build. We enjoy the community because we've done a lot of life together, years together. And so you don't have that moving to Kansas and you're a stranger in a strange town. So know that it's going to take time. But I would say just be careful not to let that be your only identity
Right.
or it's headed for disaster.
I'm serious about CrossFit. I am.
what if it's not in Kansas?
It is in Kansas, I
Probably
promise.
in
But
Kansas
here's
by
here's
now.
yesterday. There's an email in here. It says, one thing would
Not
make
in
the show
Kansas.
better is Doug would talk less about CrossFit. I
Wise word.
I wish there was other things that were as similar to what the church should be
Yeah.
as this, and I see all these single people at the gym that Josh and I work out
Yeah.
at, and I go, it is so great for them. They hang out together, they work out together,
Yeah.
they, because you're cheering one another on. It's like you're in you've been through that battle, and so when you're laying there exhausted, that person next to you knows it. I mean, there's all this community that's being built that I've thought many times. If you're a single person, I actually said it to our friend Caroline the other day.
Yeah.
I said, Caroline, you should join our CrossFit. There are so many single people there.
Yeah.
That
Well, and not to
connect.
mention, it's also a great release. Like you're getting out, seeing the world. You're in the culture. Like it's just it's good for your body. I don't know. It's good for your mind too. Go out and spend some time in the real world. Like I'm in the Christian bubble all the time. It's fun to be not just in a Starbucks doing work in my little Christian laptop bubble, but I mean it's a good spot. It opens your eyes. Yeah.
Okay, so what about our anonymous friend?
Yeah, church.
What
calendar
happens if the
business?
church gets too busy? Our church is, being honest, an upper middle class group, a group that is validated by their busyness. along with all that we add to the church calendar, packed with children's plays, graduations, weekend celebrations, Spring Fest, spring break, Easter weekend. You know, the 3 weeks we had to 3 weeks in a row we had to cancel regular youth meetings. You know, what do you do when you work at a church and the church is too busy?
If you said validated by their busyness, like, does he say that?
No, he said that.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
But is he saying that, or is the church, like, is that like reality?
Maybe that's why he wants to stay anonymous.
That's true. No, but I mean, we all know that's wrong. You can't be validated by busyness. That's not who Christ has called us to be. And so if that's the case, I would go back to the drawing board and look, if that's really reality, if you're only accepted or validated or only doing a good job if you stay completely busy, that's probably an unhealthy place to be, right?
So, senior pastor, help us have that conversation.
Yeah.
You've
Church
been both now.
jam-packed.
You've been a youth pastor for many years, and you've been a senior pastor for many days.
Yes.
And,
Hey, I'm on 7 weeks now, Doug. No, I mean, we talked about that with our team last week. Just that, like, we are going to go out of our way to be intentional, to not just fill up our calendar with events and just keep people busy. We want people to pour in to their families. We come back from the Orange Conference, just hearing about that, the whole family unit, and every age is so matter, and it's just a phase, so make it last or make it count, right?
Yeah.
So it was so good. We're going out of our way to not do that. We were talking about, okay, we need summer events, we need something every month. Well, no, we don't. What are we trying to accomplish here? How are we trying to build people in the relationship with God and each other, and for them to have their family as a priority? And so it's kind of fun when you have a blank canvas. This guy clearly doesn't have a blank canvas. He's got to submit to what's going on. I would say at the end of the day, you've done your job, right? You've done your best, and you can shut work off. And you can say, like, I'm going to pour into, my family, my friends, CrossFit. It's time for me to rest, to have a Sabbath, and to do your best and if someone calls you in, say, hey, the 40 or 50 hours that I'm here at work, this is what I've done. And I've been a good steward with what I've had, and I can't work beyond that. And if they don't like it, peace out.
I heard half of what he was saying because I'm so freezing in here.
It's cold. It's cold. It's cold and loud.
You've got a sweatshirt.
I never wear a sweatshirt.
And it wasn't that interesting.
No, it was really good.
Go ahead.
I think the tough thing about some of those conversations are, there's a lot of people who are like, we need to slow down, we need to rest, we need to not be busy. But there aren't a lot of people showing them how to do it. There's not a lot of modeling going on. And so I think, or even for this guy, like, how do you express what you need to your leadership? Because I think sometimes it's like, well, leadership is like this and it sucks and I'm just stuck with this. But I think there's always a leading up aspect, to, or in a sense of being able to express, like, hey, this is important to me and I'm not sure I'm seeing it modeled, but I don't, like, this is what I'd like, is this possible? Just having some of those open conversations with leadership because they might not know that it's, the culture is this validated by busyness culture, and so, I mean, there might be a peace out moment at some point, but I just think, if you love your church and you love the leadership, maybe there's a bigger conversation to be had or something that you can say, like, I want to slow down, I want to be strategic, I want to be purposeful what we're doing, not pressured to do, super, tons of stuff, but purposeful. And so, but what does that conversation look like with the people that are on the leadership team with you? I don't know. I mean, I know those are really hard, awful conversations to have sometimes, but sometimes I find my leadership doesn't know that I'm feeling that way, or they don't know that there's any kind of unhealth. So it's like there's got to be some kind of conversation.
Do you think anyone that's really working hard, that's doing their job, could ever be accused of not being busy or not doing enough? Like, you know what I'm saying? If someone really put the 40 hours in, or whatever it is, 45 or 50, right? And I know most people do more than that. But if they're really doing their job, could they ever be, if they brought up a conversation like that, could it even be argued? Would some boss out there be like, you need to do more? Like, I don't think so. So maybe half the problem could be our laziness.
I'm kind of wondering what planet you live on, because I'm going. I think half the bosses out there expect more.
If they're doing all that,
absolutely. I mean, when you talk 40, when you're talking 40 hours, I think there's a baseline expectation in the church that's, 50 minimum.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Sure.
And that I think, we've talked about this before, that the older that boss gets, depending on their stage of life, when you're an empty nester, you just have more time.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I noticed when I was here on staff was when Rick was hitting the empty nester years. And I was an empty nester. I was in the zone with my kids, and it was like he was foot on the gas pedal, and people are working long hours and hard hours, and yet it was like, hey, catch me if you can, and you should try to catch me. So I think there's expectations that even if you're working hard, that people want more out of you.
Yeah.
I think you just question things like, because you don't know. So, for example, you're working, let's say you've worked 60 hours, but you decide that on this Thursday, I'm going to go to the movies at 2 o'clock. Right. Then you walk in the movies and you're kind of looking over your shoulder, kind of feeling guilty. What if somebody sees you? That type of thing. Because
drive to the movie theater a little further away.
Yeah, because the reality is you're going, hey,
over.
I worked 65 hours, but I think there's something in the church culture that creates that pressure.
I would say there are a couple things. One, you can't control the whole church calendar. You're part of the youth ministry. You're not part necessarily of the leadership of the whole church. So you need to speak up, be a voice of reason, counter, and also be on board with what the church is going to do, because that's part of the gig. But I think the second half of that is you can control the youth ministry calendar, largely. So an example would be from this summer. Whenever we add something to our calendar, we take something away. Otherwise, you're going to have program creep. You're going to have event creep. You're going to have vision all over the place. You're going to be doing too much for too many different audiences. It's just going to be, you're going to be overworked and overrun. Yep. So we added the camp that we normally do and go to is full. So we added a second week. We're going to open it up for students to be able to go to a second week, but that's going to add a lot more work and stress on us. So when we added an option for a second week for our students to go to, we had to cut other things on the summer calendar. So if you look at our summer calendar, it's a little underwhelming this summer. It is. Because there's summer camp option 1 and summer camp option 2. And then it's like beach day and sports day and end of summer bonfire. And that's it for 3 months. But we said, hey, if we're going to go all in with the second option for camp, we've got to cut other places. So you can't control everything. I mean, you need to be a voice and speak up. But what you can control, I think you got to be really wise. If you're adding something, cut something. Ruthlessly cut something. Nothing sacred in our youth ministry. When we go and do fall planning together, we're looking at what we've always done and ideas we want to do, and we do not add those together. Because if you add 2 and 2, now all of a sudden you're out 4 nights of the week, and then next year you're out 5 nights of the week, and you're coming,
Well, and I think thinking ahead too, because I mean, at our church, there's definitely things that happen in certain seasons every year. So we always know that Easter is going to be a crazy time here. So we don't plan a whole lot in April, or Christmas. There's a lot of Christmas services, and we don't know what the expectations are going to be. And we know families are doing stuff, so we don't plan a lot in those times. So even thinking through the seasons of your church, I think can be really helpful in kind of the rhythms of ministry, because there are things that just always happen and are always going to be busy seasons in the church, and then there's going to be times where there aren't some of those too. And so kind of thinking through what are the rhythms of the church as a whole, what are things that you can kind of set your watch by, and then kind of bringing a youth ministry rhythm to that already exists. I think that can be helpful too.
Throw in one other option. You just talked about momentum. How do you maintain momentum if you're cutting programs or doing less? And I would say I get it, because I love momentum. I like events and series to run into each other. But I would suggest, I don't know if it's entirely true in this context, but you can probably handle and maintain momentum with half of what we're doing. Really. You don't have to have another overnighter and then a pizza party and then a pancake thing and then a serve day and if you look at that calendar, I would bet if you're a typical youth ministry, you could do about half of what's on there and things would still be cooking. Things would still be awesome, and you'd be a whole lot
maybe you'd be healthier,
Yeah.
Well, and again, thinking outside of yourself. So really, really pouring into developing team and developing volunteers, and
Yeah.
there's this weird
huge.
pressure, I think, sometimes to feel like we have to be the man all the time. We have to be at everything.
Yeah.
Whatever. We have to be at everything. We have to be the number one person, the most visible, the person speaking every
Yeah.
time. And I think there's definitely great decisions and healthy decisions to make leadership wise of where you should be visible, but a volunteer can run a serve day into the community. You don't need to be the head of that. So even thinking the more you multiply yourself and kind of
That's great.
pour
Yeah.
into people, some of these things that maybe feel busy could be handed off to people who would find joy in leading that stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
Oh,
always
yeah.
have
Well,
to be you.
what if you mashed up events? Like you look at the church calendar and there's Blocktober, which is this kid Halloween harvest festival thing, but you also want to do Pumpkin Fest. Well, what if you said, all right, for the sake of health and the ministry in our church, I'm going to get rid of Pumpkin Fest. We're not going to do a teen event, but we're going to have teenagers serve at Blocktober, and we're going to call it good. And now maybe you'll be there, but now you're just encouraging students and loving on students, and the children's ministry is going to run it and get the credit. You're still going to get momentum. You're still going to accomplish the purposes, and you've just axed another night out of the week and something else that could be gone. Get rid of it. Combine, mash up, see what's there.
Yeah.
Why call it good, though? Why wouldn't you just call it Blocktober?
I would call it Blocktober. It'd be a great event called Blocktober. All right, fine.
And Josh, let me push back a little bit. You said everything's on the calendar, or everything's off when you do your planning deal.
Yeah,
So you take everything off, say there's no sacred cows?
yeah.
Do you really do that?
Yes, event-wise, yes.
Okay.
There's certain things that are in
So
the
primary programs are not.
primary. I can't change when we do youth group or
Okay.
the length of youth
That's
group.
what I want to be clarify on, because
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we're not taken out of.
Yeah, core programs are thrown to people.
Well,
No.
I just say you say nothing's sacred, but if you tried to not do
A weekend
high school
service.
ministry on the weekend,
Well, I'll tell you this. I have some ideas. I got some ideas. I'm gonna make a push for changing a core program in the next year, and I'm gonna mess with stuff to see if there's something better out there.
yeah. Do you
We'll
want to
see.
experiment right now?
No, I don't.
Yeah, let's,
I have not
get it
told
out there.
anyone.
Let's get it out there.
No, I mean I got a lot
This
of
is a great
legacy
platform.
at this table that I want to honor. So I want to explain
It's
it to you.
it's
in a
just the four of us.
strategic-
Just share it right now.
Okay. I want, and it's pretty radical. I want to get rid of youth group on Sunday mornings and do Sunday school on Sunday mornings, and move everything youth group related to Saturday nights. Make Saturday night the fun, the entry level, and then have some discipleship options on Sunday morning. Our Sunday morning's taken a huge hit, and it's hurting. Saturday night has grown huge for us. I know this is very specific, but in our youth ministry, I'm going. Sunday school actually feels a little old school. But I kind of want to go back to a little more discipleship options, and that feels like a good place for them to land. But really go all in with Saturday night and make it the place to be. Anyhow,
So you want to turn discipleship into a program?
exactly. That'd
Yeah.
be great. Yeah.
That's good. No, that's good. It'll be good that kids are discipled at a program, so when they graduate. No, you've kind of got that anyway with Sunday morning. I mean that isn't so radical.
Well, for us it is. For us,
Not really, because your attendance on Sunday morning is not that. It's almost like it's a shift in. It's a shift in focus. I mean, those
Yeah.
same kids are probably going to come on Sunday
Absolutely.
morning you're not going to move a lot of
Absolutely.
those kids. They're coming on Sunday morning because their parents are making them come on Sunday. Might be my
Right.
guess.
Right.
Because if they were really youth group kids, they'd come on Saturday
They'd be on
night.
Saturday night,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it's a good example of going, hey, when something maybe isn't working, you can refocus it, reframe it. You might have
Yeah.
some of those Saturday night kids go, hey, I'm going to come tomorrow morning because I want to do that class on Revelation.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And what's nuts is it has worked, but it's not working right now. So I'm going, do we need to change it? Is it a season? Is it a moment? Am I just itching to change something? Or is there something here that
I think it's a good move.
I don't know.
I think it's a good move. I'd support it.
it's risky?
Yeah,
All change
it's not.
is.
I don't think that's risky. I think
Okay.
that I don't. I think that would actually be kind of strategic.
Okay.
You might get some. Well,
That's not the real idea. The real idea is to combine all of us one service on Saturday night in the worship center and cancel adult
Okay,
services.
so the end game is the end
That's
game
the
is
real idea.
we move out of the youth room and into the main sanctuary, and we do an unbelievable junior
Wow,
high through high
Saturday night
school
service.
critical mass, energy, worship, fun, dynamic teaching. So much less load on us. We're duplicating
Super team.
programs, and yes, Katie and I work together instead of by each other. We would work together. I'm in. So one step at a time, guys.
That's good. That's good. I like your first idea better, but what do I know?
Love it.
What do
Hey,
I know?
we're talking about 2020 at this point.
Josh and I are
if we're
just
lucky.
always trying to find ways that we can work together.
Yes.
It's not very often.
You know what? And who wouldn't want to work with the hardest working youth pastor in America?
Clearly, I know everybody wants to work with more Josh, right? I mean, more Josh.
Ring
is
the
what
cowbell,
everybody
guys.
wants.
All right.
Okay, this took an odd turn at the end. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, it didn't.
It was
That
a great
perfect.
show, and now it's a little hurtful.
No, let's wrap it up. Speaking of hurtful, is Doug?
Hurtful as leader treks didn't get
I was
mentioned
gonna
on the
say,
show.
Doug
That's
Franklin.
hurtful.
Wait, can I mention it?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know any of the real information that you wanted to
No,
say,
you're
but
fine.
I just have to say. So we have been in our junior high ministry doing Leader Treks has kind of the project-based student leadership stuff, where like I was talking about before, the start point and the
Yeah.
end point. And we've been using that stuff with our middle schoolers, and it's so great.
That's great.
It's just really cool stuff
Cool.
for middle school. So if you want to do leadership stuff and serve stuff for junior high ministry, I would just really encourage you to pick up some of their stuff. It's so good.
That's awesome.
It's been great for us, and it's like really thriving for us.
Yeah,
So.
Josh and I think they feel like family to us
They do.
because they've really come alongside the DYM world, and they're going to be at our student leadership conference, and they're just great.
stellar. Doug
They
Franklin
really
was
are.
at Orange, and I just love him.
What's fun is when you're talking about that start and stop, that's
Yeah.
what resonated with me earlier, too. I was like, ooh, I like that. Because getting a student to sign up for a year of something, even like greeting, which is easy,
Totally.
man, if it was just do 3 months worth.
Yep.
Start and stop, and then we'll
a great idea.
It's
Dude,
so
we've done
simple.
know his wife?
We're doing 4 projects this year. Yeah.
You know Ange?
Ange is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have a lot in common because, well, you both. How much older is
I
Ron
know where
than you?
this is going.
He's not that much
100
older
years.
than
He's
me.
100 years old.
He's
Well-
12 years older.
Okay.
So when you
He
were
doesn't look
born,
like he's 12
he was
years
in junior high. Just
Yeah.
for context.
Well,
Yeah.
for context, I was graduating kindergarten when he was graduating high school.
oh my goodness.
So that's kind of our.
No,
It's
our
a beautiful.
age difference.
Yeah.
But he's the greatest human alive.
Oh, he's great, but so how's that
jackpot
different?
For me.
Yeah, but
But aren't
Why
they
would you
like
have to say
20
that?
years
I don't
apart?
think they're 20 years apart.
It's pretty far.
No,
It's
no,
like
no, no.
19.
No.
Yeah.
It's
You
high.
ask
Okay,
him.
we need to. We
You
need
need to
to.
ask
I'm
him.
going to say 15. I'll split the difference between 12 and 20.
I think it's 18.
Yeah.
Either way,
She's so adorable, though.
Doug
Oh,
Franklin,
yeah.
Leader
She's like the
Treks
most
is
adorable.
awesome, and he married a very
Yeah, we
young
need to
woman.
get both of them on.
Adorable.
We need to get both of them on the show
I
sometime
agree.
and then talk about that. Yeah,
Oh,
because you
they're-
guys have like stuff to talk about, like what happens when your spouse dies before
And you still have
know?
30 years left to live.
Yeah, yeah.
We
That would
hang
be a
out
good
together.
conversation.
Yeah, totally.
How much life insurance should I take out on my old husband?
Yes, exactly. That's
a good-
Exactly.
Do you call him your first husband?
Stop.
Statistically, you're going to have a couple.
That's
My
right.
husband is amazing.
Ron is a
You guys would
wonderful
be lucky to know.
retired gentleman.
and to meet her first husband is a wonderful thing. I shouldn't talk. He's my
The
age.
second time.
yeah, that's true.
First time for love, you know.
Yeah,
Oh
good
yeah,
times.
he's older than you.
Is he older than me?
6 months older.
Really? I thought, wow.
Yeah.
He looks a lot older. All right, everybody.
Cross
DYM. There you go.
Leader track.
There it
Love
is.
you,
Leader
love
Treks
you, love
Network.
you. See you at episode 270.
Cheese
Whoa.
puffs.
Cheese
270, that's a
puffs.
good one.
Good one.
The cheese puff show. I like it.